Hello students, in this video we are going to learn about letter and article writing. Letter and article writing are very important part of grammar and in our day-to-day life at times we need write letter and article. So we are going to learn about first your letter writing. So in this digital age, many modes of communication have been evolved. However, letter writing has not lost its importance as a form of communication. A letter may be used for different purposes such as apologizing, complaining, making inquiries, replying to inquiries, conveying news, making business transactions, sharing information, etc. Letter can be classified into two types, formal letter and informal letter. So though we have evolved many modes of communication like your messages are there, mobiles are there, we can communicate through that, but still we need to write letter. Suppose you want to send a mail to someone, email I mean to say, then also you need to write a letter. So it's very important us to learn how to write a letter, what is the layout of the letter, what are the elements of the letter. So this is what we are going to learn in this chapter, and this is a very important part that will be asked in your question paper also. So letter can be used for the different purposes that has been mentioned here, like simply just sharing some information or maybe replying to some inquiries or apologizing and etc etc. So here we come to know that there are two types of letter. One is a formal letter and other is informal letter. So we'll see first a formal letter. So formal letters are written within professional organization. This type of letters always maintains the formalities of the office strictly. Institutional and business letters fall in this category. So formal letters are written within the professional organizations. So these are the official letter written by one office to another office or a person to some companies or some organizations. So these type of letter are called formal letter. So there is no personal relationship between the sender and the receiver. Organizational business relationship may be there. So these type of letters are written within the offices and organization. So this type of letter always maintain the formality of the office strictly. Institutional and business letter fall in this category. Now informal letter. Informal letter, the letter which does not follow any formal rule and contain personal information is known as an informal or personal letter. This type of letter is written to relatives and friends for exchanging information or feeling. So informal letter is written within the relations, family, friends, and relatives. The tone of the letter is also friendly and there is no formality in that. So we'll proceed further. Now we are going to learn about elements of a formal letter. So what are the elements or the part of the formal letter? A formal letter has the following elements. First is sender's address. The sender address should be written in the top left hand corner of the letter, and date. The date of writing letter is written below the address of the person writing the letter. So the first element of a formal letter is a sender's address to be written, and it says the top left hand corner of the letter. So actually there are two layout of a letter, one we call indented, another we call block style. So we are just following block style. I will give you a little bit insight of these two type of layout of the letter later on. So we are talking about the block style letter. So in the block style letter, on the top left hand corner, you have to write the sender address, and just below that you have to write down date. When you are writing a letter, there should be one line space between sender address and date. Next, receiver's address. Write the designation and address of the person you are writing the letter below the date, and then will be followed by salutation or greeting. So first is sender's address, then below that you have to write date, and just below the date you have to write the receiver address and designation, and then you have to write down salutation or greeting, dear sir or dear madam. So next, if you do not know the name of the person you are writing to, you can simply write dear sir or dear madam. If you know the name, use the title Mr., Mrs., Miss or Miss, Doctor, etc., and the surname only. For example, dear Mr. Negi, dear Mr. Srivastava, you can write down. But if you don't know the name of the person you are writing the letter, so you can simply write dear sir or dear madam. So after salutation, next come your body of letter. This is a very important part of the letter. The body of the letter contains the message or information that the writer wants to convey. The body may have either one or even more than one paragraph. And after body comes your subsection. The letter ends with the complimentary words like yours sincerely or yours faithfully. At the end of the letter, the writer puts his or her signature with the designation. So body of the letter, as I said, it's an important part. The whole information that you want to convey to the receiver of the letter is written in the body. So it may be one paragraph or more than one paragraph, and whatever information you want to send it, you should write it there. Then after the body of the letter comes your subscription. The letter ends with complimentary word like yours sincerely, yours faithfully, and after that the writer of the letter puts his signature with designation. So these are the elements of the letter. We will just see these all in one place. So here is the format. So you could see that the format of formal letter is given here. This one, okay. So here are the elements or the parts of the formal letter. First is address of sender, then is the date of writing letter, then name designation, address of the receiver, salutation or greeting, subject of the letter, maybe reference number, or that we call letter number. It could be written because for the future reference, if someone want to mention the letter, we can write down the letter number. Body of the letter comes, then comes a subscription and then signature. And here we could see the layout. So this first, on the top left hand corner of the letter, you are going to write the sender's address. Okay, 225 Tiratnagar, Haridwar, Uttarakhand, etc., etc. So this is here. One line space is given. So always after writing the sender address, you have to give one line space, and then you are going to write date. So date also has a proper. This is usually this style of writing date is to be followed while you're writing formal letter. 23 October 2019, or you can put comma here if you want. Then again one line space is there, and then you are going to write receiver address. This is designation, and this is the organization name, and followed by your address and whatever it is there. So sender's address, date, receiver address, then again one line space to be given here, and this we call salutation, dear sir or dear Mr. XYZ. Okay, so after that again one line gap, and this is body of the letter that will contain the whole information that you want to convey. So after your body of the letter, again one line space is there, then this you call subscription, complimentary letter, yours sincerely. And remember, when it is a formal letter, it is always yours. S is there. Sometimes students write only your. So remember, especially when you are writing formal letter, it should be yours. Sincerely, and comma is also there. Remember this. And then you have to write down the name and signature. Okay, whosoever is sending letter, the name and signature is put there. So this is the layout and element of a formal letter. So here is the elements of the informal letter that we are going to study. So address is there, date of writing is there, then salutation or greeting comes. So what is missing here? The name and designation and address of the receiver. So that is not here. You can see here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 elements are there. Here only one element is missing. There are only 8 elements are there. So this is a little bit difference between the formal letter and informal letter. So in informal letter, the name, designation and address of the receiver is not written there, because you must be sending a letter to your parents, to your friends, your relations. So need not to write down their name, designation, because we have a personal relationship with them. So remember, when you are writing informal letter, you are not going to write the sender's address. So one element is less, otherwise it's the same. Now we are going to see the pattern, one example of formal letter. So we begin with the sender's address, the creative publication, and followed by this address, and we can see one line gap is there, then followed by date, and then receiver's address, and then salutation. Here is the body is going on. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the Staff and Scholar publication. We are excited to have you join our team, and we hope that you will enjoy working with our company. On the first Monday of each month, we hold a special lunch to welcome any new employees. Please be sure to come next week to meet all of our senior staff and any other new staff members who have joined us in April. Warm regards, Rajesh. This is a joining letter, and the company is writing to its newly appointed employee to come and join the company or the organization, and that's why it falls under a formal letter. And you could see the layout. This one is the sender address, gap you could see here, gap, one line gap, one line gap is there, then this is your date, and then space is there, then this is receiver's address, and again you could see gap is there, and then this is salutation, comma is there, and this we call body of the letter. Whatever information to be conveyed is written here. Then again gap is there, and this we call subscription, and then this is the name of the sender, or you may find signature also here. So the same pattern is there, and whenever you been asked to write a letter, don't forget to follow this pattern. If anything is missed there, or you have written unappropriately, you are going to lose mark. So pattern of the date, one thing I told you, don't write the date like 12/06/2020. This is wrong way to write. I want you to follow this pattern only. So I hope you understand. Now I told you about the two layouts. One I said it's a block style or block layout, or one is indented. So I just want to draw your attention that the line of each line of the letter is beginning from the left indent. Okay, this you can see all the line beginning from the leftmost indent. Now the same formal letter, if you want to write in indented style, so you can see here the indented style. So this is sender address, you can see it's on the right top corner, and the date is also just below on the right top corner, and then the receiver address is on the left. And here you can notice that when the first line of the body starts, there is some indent, say there is some space here. So each paragraph will follow the same pattern. The first line of the each paragraph will have an indent, left indent, and then you can see salutation and subscription, and name and signature of a person also comes on the right side. So this sender's address and the date on the right side, and this subscription and the name of the senders again on the right side, address of the receiver on the left side, and you can see indent here. So this we call indented style. So this was only for the knowledge sake. We are going to follow block style only, the style that we have learned just earlier. So whenever you've been asked to write a letter, you are going to follow this style, this one. Everything is starting from the left margin. Okay, after learning the formal letter, its style, layout, and elements, now we are going to see the format of an informal letter. So informal letter, we have already learned about it. An informal letter is written to relatives, friends, and sometimes acquaintances. An informal letter has the following elements: sender address, date, salutation, body, and then comes subscription and name and signature. That your signature may not be there. Okay, so this is the style. On the left top corner, you could see the sender's address is there, but there is no receiver address. Okay, the date, and then salutation is there, body of the letter is also there, and here you can see subscription is there and name is also there. Signature maybe not be there. So this is informal letter. One element is missing here. and that is receiver address or designation. So sender's address, okay, space, date, then this is salutation, no receiver address is there. Then this is body, space, subscription, and name. So here yours is again there. So when you are using sincerely, obediently, faithfully, so we write yours. But suppose you are writing a letter to your father or mother, then what are you going to write here? Your son, let's say. Okay, so this, why I have written it your, not yours, because this word is expressing a close relationship with the receiver. So then it is not yours. So it will be your son, your daughter, your brother. So when you are mentioning your relationship, the close relationship with the receiver, then it will be your. Otherwise, if you are not mentioning any relationship, you simply writing sincerely, truly, so it will be yours in informal letter. In formal letter, I've told you it will be always yours because we are not mentioning a relationship over there. But in an informal letter also, sometimes we are not mentioning the relationship. Maybe it's a friend. Okay, so that time you are going to write down yours. But if the relationship is there, then it will be yours. So remember this. So this is all about letter writing. We have come to know that there are two types of letters. One we call formal letter, another we call informal letter. Formal letters are written within the business organizations, or as we call official letter, and informal letter is generally written to our friends, relatives, parents, etc., etc. Okay, so layout also we have learned. One is a block style, one is called indented style, and we are going to follow the block style. We have also learned the elements of the letter. We have seen the address of the sender, the elements are address of the sender, dates of the writing, name and designation of the address of the receiver, salutation or greeting, subject of the letter, that we call body, maybe sometime it may be subject of the letter, reference number, body of the letter, subscription and signature. So these are the elements. Well, two things I haven't shown you in the letter. One is you know subject of the letter and reference number. So reference number and even subject of the letter is optional. You may include them or you may leave them. I just want to show you where you can write down subject and reference number. So what is a reference number? It's a letter number. Okay, if someone want or you want to continue or the organization want to continue replying these letters, so here is the reference number. It could be anything comprises of letter and number. So it's after the date you can write down reference number, or simply you can write ref and colon, and here you can write. So this you can write in future if someone want to mention this letter, so this letter number can be mentioned so that the person will come to know the what he or she is talking about, which letter one is talking about. So this is reference number. And here subject can also be written or you can leave. The subject is only given in a formal letter only. In informal letter you need not to write down any subjects. but in a formal letter also, if you opt to leave it, you can leave it. So subject, offering of joining organization. So these two things I have just shown you. If you want to mention them in the letter, you can mention. So this is all we are going to learn in letter. Now we'll proceed further. We are going to learn about writing articles. A feature article is a piece of writing in a newspaper or magazine that deals in depth with the topic or person. Feature articles are longer and more in depth than regular news articles. A feature writer, like a craftsman, uses his material in ways that catch the attention of readers. So every day we read newspapers or some magazines, in that the articles are written there. So there are two type of article. One is called a simple article, one is feature articles. So simple articles are are a smaller piece of writing, but feature articles are written in depth on the subjects. So in examination, you may be asked to write article or feature articles. The layout is almost same, and we are going to learn about it. So first of all, we are going to learn about the elements of a feature article. So first is the headline or title. The headline must grab the attention of the reader. It needs to be catchy, emotion evoking, and able to create curiosity. So headline is written on the topmost area of the feature articles, and this should be catchy. It should draw the attention of the reader and should tell what you are going to write about. Then after headline, lead sentence or paragraph. So what is this? The lead sentence or paragraph leads the rest of the paragraph. It should be short and attractive. A good beginning leads a reader to into the story. It catches their attention, enticing them to continue reading. So lead sentence or paragraph is going to tell what you are going to write about. It's an opening sentence or paragraph that will tell the reader that what the article is all about, and it should be written in such a way that it arise curiosity in the reader's mind, and reader is provoked to continue reading. So it should be very attractive, it should be very enticing, so that the reader is going to follow others paragraph that you have written. Next is your introduction. So which fact and figures will ground your story? To make the article more interesting and factual, we must have included as many facts as we can. The writer will tell the readers where and when this story is happening. Here, the reader will get the answers to these questions. So, introduction of the topic is given after your lead sentence, and in this introduction, the topic is little bit more opened up, and here the fact and figures will be given about the story, about the article, and the writer has to provide all the information that when and where the incident or things have happened, and he should also provide as many as fact can be provided here in the introduction, and to satisfy the quest of the reader, he should be able to provide all the answer to the questions to the reader as given here. So what was the specific event that took place? Who were the people involved in it? Where did the event take place? When did the event take place? What were the reason for the event to take place? So the articles are generally written on some event that took place in the past. So in our articles, we have to mention these all things that can satisfy the question of the reader, that what was the specific event that took place. We are going to write about the event. What was the event about? What was the event was about, and who were the people involved in it. So maybe some people were there in that event. So we have to mention, and we have to mention the place where the event took place, and about the date, time of the event, and the reason for the event to take place. So these all things we have to satisfy the curiosity or the question that may arise in the mind of the reader. So these all things should be mentioned there, to be expressed there in the introduction. Then comes the main body of the article. The main body of the article is where the writer presents the central idea in greater detail. The main body provides other facts, data, or details that the readers might want to know. The writer needs to know how to organize all the facts and write them effectively to create an impressive body. What the writer has to think about when composing a good body is how to get the information across to a reader. So this is the main body. In a main body, the point are provided in details. The event is elaborated here. The detailed fact data can be provided here, so that the writer or the reader can be satisfied with all his curiosity. Here comes to help you the skills of paragraph writing, how to synthesize the idea, how to put those idea in proper order, and how to write those idea. So this is your main body. Then comes your additional information. So sometimes the writer may even provide additional information about the topic. So if you want to provide any information, any additional information about the topic, that could be provided. And then byline, it is a line that gives the writer's name. Okay, so byline means this will give who has written the article. So now I'm just going to present one article here, and I will just show the component of the article. You can see this is the title or heading of the article, how to maintain good health, and this is byline, that is providing who has written it, Roma Kokoreti. This is your lead sentence or lead paragraph, and then followed by the introduction. So here the introduction of the topic is given, and this is the body of the article. So this I am going to send to you the PDF file, so that you can have a close examination of this article. So this is all about article writing. So in this video we have learned about letter writing and article writing. We have learned all the elements of the letter writing and article writing. We have also learned about the layout of the letter and even the layout of the article. So these are in the block style. The article is also written in block style, and this is composed of many paragraphs, and each paragraph start with the new ideas that you already know. So this is all. Thank you very much.